morning, guys. Chris VA Travels down here in Hanover County, Virginia, about 10 miles northeast of Richmond, and visiting Pole Green Church, also known as the Hanover Meeting House, also known as the Ghost Church. Yeah, so check this place out. And right next to the parking lot is the Visitor Center. They're open on Tuesdays, but there's no museum or anything inside, so there's no real reason to go in there. And yeah, here's the parking lot. We're at the intersection of Lee Davis Road and Pole Green Road. Come over here to gather some information. Okay, there he is right there, Samuel Davies. Welcome to historic Pole Green Church. Pretty nice marker. Here's the dig site going back to 1990. It was performed in partnership with VCU. Board of Directors breaking ground in 2007. Here's one of the historic programs in session. And looks like there's a little timeline of religious freedom, it says, on the walkway leading up to the church. There are Civil War trenches to look at. And yeah, they've got bathrooms and whatnot. Timeline here going back to Jamestown. All right, 1699, Virginia House of Burgesses confirms the Acts of Toleration. And Willie One-Eye Robinson, a Presbyterian minister from Newcastle, Pennsylvania, he preaches here. 1748 to 1759, a young Patrick Henry attends the church with his distressed mother. All right, going through the American Revolution. In 1864, it was destroyed by fire. All right, map here of some historic sites in Hanover. Some places I need to look into. The Beaver Dam Depot. Sycamore Tavern. I'm not familiar with that. And yeah, I've been to Scotchtown. Hanover Junction. I've been to the Hanover Courthouse. Oh, here we are right here. And yeah, we're just outside of the Cold Harbor battlefield in Rural Plains. I was just there recently. And there's the Slash Church. Split rail fence. Going around, I see another plaque. Way over there. I think I'm actually supposed to go this way. It looks like, and this is the timeline I was talking about. And while going back to from 64 AD until 304, Rome begins persecution of Jews and Christians, but the underground Christian church thrives. In 1312, Emperor Constantine converts to Christianity and allows limited religious toleration. 391, wow, this is going way back. Christianity becomes the official religion of Rome. 1478, so a little bit of a jump. The Spanish Inquisition persecuted Jews and heretics. 1790, Spain expels Muslims and Portugal expels Jews. King Henry VIII, okay, yeah, wanted to split with his wife. He renounces papal authority and becomes head of the Church of England. 1572, St. Bartholomew's Day Massacre of Protestants in France. All right, there's a whole lot of these, so yeah, I'm not going to read them all, but okay, well, 1607, Jamestown, of course. All right, so jumped ahead, 1740 is the first Great Awakening comes to Virginia with the preaching of George Whitefield. Oh, all right, so Virginia Statute of Religious Freedom adopted by Thomas Jefferson, and there's a plaque I visited recently in Fredericksburg. I'll tell you that Pole Green got its name from a George Pole Green. He was a landowner in the area going back to the 17th century. And it looks like they changed the name of the road. On Google Maps, it says this is Lee Davis Road, but that's saying Rural Point Road, so. Oh, all right, so they've got the Union Jack up here. Pretty cool. Over here, some Civil War information, going back to the Overland Campaign, of course. And we're right between the Totopotomoy Creek skirmish/battle and, like I say, Cold Harbor. And I'll tell you that Samuel Davies, he got his license back in 1740 to establish reading houses. They couldn't be called churches, they were called reading houses, and there were 4 of them. And there it is. And apparently there's one still standing out in Louisa, so I need to gather some information on that. 1743, that William One-Eye Robinson, he preached the country's first Presbyterian sermon here. So yeah, here it is. And it's modeled off of a sketching from a Civil War soldier going back to 1682. And it looks like a big one-room building. There's a door here to the side, I guess. And I guess the pews would have been right here. Altar up here. Well, we're inside what would have been the church. And there's another building down there I'm going to go take a look at. Right here, site of Pole Green Presbyterian Church, founded 1748 by Reverend Samuel Davies. Presbytery of Newcastle Synod of New York, 7 years before the organization of Hanover Presbytery, 1755. It was destroyed, like I say, June 1st during the Battle of Cold Harbor, 1864. Erected in 1929. So let me walk down here to this last building. It burned down is that there were Union sharpshooters stationed inside during the Battle of Cold Harbor. They fired on by Confederate soldiers, and I had read that the Confederate soldier that fired the bullet that burned it down, his father was actually baptized here, and his name would be William White of the 3rd Company of the Richmond Howitzers, and it occurred, I think we read before, first at 4:30 p.m. So yeah, like I say, it says reading room, so this is a really simple structure. Reading room. Proclamation, I can't really make that out. Obviously I see Virginia, top left corner. But on this site, 1743, ordinary colonists began the successful struggle for greater civil and religious liberty. And you can pause if you want to read. As the Great Awakening emerged, the dissenting population grew, prompting men like Samuel Morris, a Hanover County, he was a brick mason, okay, to petition the colonial government for the right to build reading rooms. I guess I'll just go ahead and walk in here. But were there no windows in here, or I don't know. And looks like a few people have walked down there. A lot of insects over here. All right, we're inside the old reading room. And I wonder if this would have been a dirt road at the time. All right, we'll go ahead and loop back around. Might be a couple more things to read. Another bench back there. But I'll tell you, Davies was called away in 1759 to become president of Princeton University, which at the time was just called the College of New Jersey, and died just two years later. Yeah, 1761. He was only 38 years old. So that's pretty sad. that in 1800, a guy named Archibald Alexander, he had written that he had seen African Americans that were born in Africa baptized here and were taught to read by Mr. Davies, so Reverend Davies. It looks like right over here we have the Civil War trenches they were talking about. And you're not supposed to walk on them, but yeah, looks like they go up to the road. That wraps it up for Pole Green Church. A good place to visit if you're ever down here in Hanover County. Maybe visiting Scotchtown, Rural Plains, maybe the Hanover Tavern, Cold Harbor Battlefield. But yeah, I'm going to get out of here. As always, guys, like and subscribe. See you on the next one.